Hi everyone, Cynthia of MellaQueen Beauty here. Welcome back to my channel, a channel where we honor our beautiful, we celebrate all shades of beautiful, and we transform our skins by knowing the ingredients that are in our skincare products. Today for the chapter 2 of the MellaQueen series, I have two extraordinary women, Anita and Tina. And these two women are very dear to me because they are the reason MellaQueen exists. Women are known to tear themselves down. We compete against each other, but these two lovely ladies supported me in my dream and saw it come to life. So I'm honored and excited to have them on this chapter of the MellaQueen series. So our MellaQueens, Tina and Anita, will be sharing with us where the modern woman has gone wrong in life, beauty, romance, finances, and is it really the modern woman going wrong, or is there something that we are missing? Join me and I hope you enjoy the conversation.
I feel like yes and no, we have gone wrong, but then our wrong is kind of like justified, but then it's also not justified because sometimes you just like go overboard. Where has the modern woman gone wrong? I am a modern woman to start with because I'm living in this generation of digital awareness. Social media is at the peak. Feminism, woman emancipation, gender role talks, everything about the woman is at the peak. And as much as that is a very good thing because it has now brought us from where it was just us being childbearers, home takers, just in the background of everything. We are the forefront now, or we're actually trying to get there. But then that power now has just spiraled in a way that I didn't expect it personally to be, because of the tools and the times we're in, we've abused it. The modern woman has actually abused.
I think I'd like to agree with Tina. I think we've abused it.
Yeah.
We've been given so much opportunity, so much equality that we have abused it and forgotten that the traditional rules of a woman still hold. Yeah.
And more to that, I think we have actually, unlike before, we have put ourselves under a lot of pressure. Before, the pressure seemed to have come from the alpha men, do this, you're supposed to do this, you're supposed to act this way. But now we have put ourselves under the pressure ourselves, and not for anything but for the lights, for society. I remember times before when you have a birthday party and it wasn't, a normal celebration, but now one cannot do a normal celebration,
right?
Because if you do not have a makeup artist to go with it,
photographer,
and the right outfit,
the right face beat, then why are you celebrating? So what's the point? Also, it's a good thing because we have the tools now. We have the tools to be able to get to a point and say, whoa, stop. Now slow down. Slow down, because the pressure to fit in with our friends, and sometimes you look at other people and you're like, oh, the iPhone, if I would own that. But step by step, you will grow to get to it. We want to get to the end.
True.
But you don't want the journey.
Does that feed to the Gen Zs, who I speak directly to, who have been brought up in an era of instant gratification? The process, the work that goes into, let's give an example of being Tina. We see the final photo of her on Instagram and you're all liking, but if she took you through the process of just delivering that one photo, it takes work, it takes time. And the Gen Zs don't seem to understand that simple fact that there is work behind all this. You see, let's say Anita owns this big retail shop and it's doing so well. There is work that goes into it. So let's take it back to the great strides that women have made. Let's bring it to the Ugandan scene. We've had women vice presidents, our female speaker, female CEOs. And it goes back to this thing of things like cooking, traditional roles. In my opinion, cooking is not something that should be forced on your wife or your partner. They should never feel like they're doing it out of duty. Cooking is, I cook because I care about you and love you and I want you healthy. I should not be seated at work at 5 o'clock and saying,
what are we eating?
Matoke is not in the saucepan. He's not going to eat today.
Stressed and I have to make my
So
own
those are the things that I feel like, that is why the modern woman, they're just fighting back. They're like, no guys, it's not a duty. I'm doing this because I love you and I care about
and now
you.
it is and that makes it double, because initially you'd have to come back. That was your primary role. You'd cook, you'd nurture, but now you have to go up and work and then come back and nurture. So it is a double role, but it's also something we need to know that is just in our setting as well. There's what we can do to work around it, but it's not something that will just be dropped. It's not something that will go away that easily. Let me give you an example. Recently, the Prime Minister was seen peeling matoke.
Yes.
And everyone on Twitter, it went viral. And people were relating with it. Oh, now we feel like we can relate with her. She looks like she can cook. But what happens to all the other work she did before?
Before the peeling of the
like, did that define her?
As much as we've been, emancipated to a certain level, and that is all good and fun and amazing. We're in spaces where we've never been before. But let's not forget our roles as women. Naturally, like we are. So now, because we are emancipated, now the men have to carry the child. No. It's not going to happen. You get what I mean? There are roles that God specifically said, this is a woman's role. You're going to childbear. We are nurturers by nature. This is what we do best.
I have no problem with it.
Without taking that away,
be understanding. I don't know if you've met those women.
Two of you to say that.
What I was saying is, then the modern woman, because now they're enlightened and equipped and they know what they want, then choose your partner right.
Yes.
Right? Have this conversation even before you say, even before you engage, have this very hard conversation and say, babe, you know what? You work, I work. We come back home at 5. We are both equally tired. We have kids, they go to school. Make sure that communication happens where he knows that it's okay to make the meal today. But without him seeing, oh my God, she's not doing her duties as a wifey. I don't know what I married.
Let's hear from Anita.
I feel like the modern woman can learn to make lemonade out of her lemon. The average modern woman knows how to use the tools that are around her. We've been blessed with all these social media platforms. We've been blessed with all these contacts. See, today your husband says, I want my chitoche with Chinyebwa today. And you've been in back-to-back meetings, you've been running your campaigns, you've been doing this, you've been doing stock taking. You can always get a hookup. You go say, today,
just ordering.
I'll go to my favorite chef at this restaurant, go whip up this nice luombo, get it back home, arrange it properly, put it there. We're making lemonade. We're getting the milk.
What if it is the kind hotel
says, I want to see?
I only eat food from the... Now we are bringing the lies into the relationship.
We're making lemonade out of the lemon. No, listen, at the end of the day, you're happy. You're not tired. You are not stressed out. Your husband is happy and he's nurtured, and so are you. It's not something you're going to do every day, but we're not superwoman. That's also another where the pressure begins. We're trying to be the best mother and the best caregiver and the best at our jobs. Okay, we'll give it our best, but there's almost nothing as something as perfect. You cannot be 100% perfect. You'll not be a perfect mother. You break down.
You break
a
down.
perfect wife, you will break down. And then when you break yourself in little pieces, then you'll not be even half perfect for whichever one of the traits you do.
And yet I've met people from an older generation who tell us that in our generation, we're just being selfish. That's the truth. I met a lady who told me, you're just being selfish. She's been a mother, she has run businesses, she's everything. So like, you guys are just being selfish. Stop being mean and lazy. You can do all these things. But I ask, and my question is, she does not tell us what price she paid in terms of mental health. And that is very, very important.
What is important for us, and also what the women of today have to their advantage, is that we have all these platforms. Social media is a very big tool, which is where you're watching this, by the way. You're on YouTube, watching this, Instagram, wherever you're watching it from. But I know for sure that without taking away anything from social media, the modern woman has also abused it. I'm speaking from my angle of, TV personality, influencer, and all that. We've been given that much freedom, do what you want, you emancipated, dress the way you want, do whatever you want. No man can tell you nothing until it's that time to. The singers are now looking at you like, bruh,
What's wrong?
what's wrong with you? Where is the man? Of course, being in the African setup, we have these conversations that we also laugh about in terms of memes and stuff. Oh, Christmas, my auntie is going to ask me about where's the man, where's what. We will conceal it and laugh about it in memes and, just dismiss it. But I know there's not a girl. Anita is married right here, flashing. We're different, but I know there are women that do not mind to either get married or have kids and stuff, personal, preference. But for a typical African, especially Ghanaian girl, we look forward to that. It's like almost a tip of, you've gone to school, you have to get married.
And that brings me to a question. Which the modern woman is fighting with. We achieve so much, but without the ring, you to your family, you have not achieved anything.
Exactly.
It's like marriage validates us. Because your mom will not look at your master's degree, she will not look at that job. She's like, but when are you bringing us a husband? When are you giving me kids? And you're like, but with all the things I've achieved, all in good time. If it will happen, it will happen. If it doesn't happen, it hasn't happened.
And you know where the modern woman is going wrong? Is that with all that, like, speaking from a career woman perspective, I know for sure that all our lives, especially if you are, for example, you are very big on academics and stuff, you've achieved it, all that. And like you said, our parents will not validate what we've done academics-wise, career-wise, unless there's marriage and a husband involved. But let me tell you where we've also gone wrong as the modern woman. We've glorified that. We've made our careers because we said, okay, you know what, for the longest time ever, we were not allowed to do this. We're not allowed to step in this room. So do you know why every small business, even if it's everyone is like CEO? I'm so sorry. I'm not saying anything, but guys, sometimes Tushi sister, it's like CEO about what balloons. And you're like, I understand, but
I beg to go on in the mushy waters on this. Since we went onto the avenue of marriage and settling down and what our parents perceive, or society perceives of us, unless we're married. I feel like the modern woman, I always keep going back to this, has been very cruel to themselves. We've been very harsh on ourselves. We've set standards that have, that even in trying to achieve, we just fall.
True.
I have chance to speak to young men who will tell you, these Kampala girls, I will not manage. Like, if you do not come to her with security, you even hear them on the shows. Awanonya
But
or whatever.
Anita, this is going back.
See, I said it's mushy waters.
It's mushy.
Yeah.
The generation that even comes after us, it's a generation that has lost touch with humanity. They value, actually, let me not say they value more of what you bring to the table than the individual. And it's showing in our relationships, in our work. Gen Zs are people who will tell you, if the work is not making me happy, like work is supposed to make you happy. Work is
What
actually
is supposed to
make
pay your bills?
You know
so
what?
if it's not making me happy, I am out of here.
So like, why?
That's not it. We value the wrong things. They're valuing the wrong things, and that's where I agree with Anita. The modern woman has set herself up for failure.
But let's not take
Just because
away.
your father. By the way, also I go back to the parents. Please, you cannot raise a girl with standards this high. And you're raising a boy with these standards, and yet they are going to meet later. The girl is like, what?
No, but when they're from the same family or they're from
Different families.
But how do you down?
So are you trying to say the boys of our generation, me being in this generation, they have not reached that standard of. Let's also not take away the fact that women naturally grow faster, even emotionally, than men. I, for example, will not date, say, a 30-year-old. Because even if I'm that age, I feel like he's a little bit immature in what life, and this is not me generalizing, I just feel like I'm thinking faster. The things I want out of life is faster. My clock is ticking. God forbid you're on that clock. But you are just looking like, as women, we are naturally.
But you've already given yourself a clock, and no one has given.
No, I'm just saying, like, this is general. This is just general. It's just general speaking of what is happening. Like, I have these conversations with like fellow age mates, and they're like, you know what? When you hit 30, this is what you should be. Don't even be dating a guy who is just saying date. Like, are they mad? We don't have time to date.
First of all, one thing that I want all of us to know is that we hit are different. There is no one clock, one timing for every person. It might sound cliche, but we arrive at our different destinations at different times. That's where the pressure comes in. I feel like all of it comes down to the pressure, most of which we give to ourselves. The society does play its role, but we do. Because I'll come back to your issue and your issue. Because you mentioned the guy as well, the partners. You'll be like, if the man, I would have dated that guy, but he cannot take me to, what's that fancy, Latitude for my birthday party, or he'll not take me out for a date. But you've already disqualified him even before you begin to know who it is. I'm not telling you to set yourself up to failure, but open your eyes and be realistic and be natural and be natural and let the vibe flow. I know that we did not begin where we are now. It did not begin where it is, and it's not guaranteed that it's rosy along the way. No, there are hurdles. But if you are true to yourself, I'm telling you, what you throw out there to the universe, it will come. If you're true to yourself.
People who have different stories, tell us, shout about those good marriages. We need to hear good stories, because the bad stories are many and it happens a lot.
It is true, it happens. It happens, and I feel, the courtrooms are full of those stories. Social media is full of those stories. Our friends, our family are full of those stories. There are other nice stories that do not get on the forefront, but like we said, we should raise a generation of women that are smart. I know women who have built empires, even not built empires, supported their spouses, and they've been left high and dry.
For me, who is still in the pool of the singles, right? But also very exposed, very, career oriented. I am the modern woman. If I can, describe myself, I'm out there, I'm on social media, I'm everything that was not there very many years back. You said be smart, be cautious, and with being smart comes with getting what you've worked very hard for, with or without a man. This is why people do prenups, for example. I've had so many people call me I'm too much, who will keep up with me, my presence is just like I am a too much person, and there's no way I can compress it. I don't know how to even not
You shouldn't be able to.
I don't know how to do that. I don't know how not to be Tina. You
When
understand?
they say too much, are they saying you're in your masculine energy? Because
No.
that is also another problem
They're
for
too
the
much.
modern woman.
They're too much is like when I step into a room, it's just like, yes, you will turn and be like, Tina is there. And I'm like, yes, sweetheart, I did not work this many years for you not to notice me. I'm here. Hey, welcome. But then also keep it to a point where you are still, grounded. So let's not be on our high horses. We forget where
But
the
you see,
ground
men
is.
fail to differentiate the two. When
Teach
you
them,
meet
teach those men.
Jacinta in the office, I've come to work. I want to be as aggressive and as ambitious as you are. When I go home,
As you should.
As you should.
but
yeah.
they fail to see the difference.
No.
They
I
do.
feel like at times we do not give the men as much credit as they should. I'm telling you, at the end of the day, it bounces back to you. Someone once told me, you cannot influence how people treat you because you're not in charge of their character. You can decide what to allow and what not to allow.
Not to allow, yeah.
Because you cannot change someone's character. If someone is a chauvinist, then he will come here and be like, Tina, what are you wearing? I cannot change his perception of that. What I can do is change how he addresses me with that.
We'll have
If
a
he comes
whole
to me with
stereotype
that-
conversation
If he comes to me with that, I'll be like, babe, maybe today I feel beautiful.
who people who see me in
Please,
bikinis on Instagram are like, does she have any sense? And I'm like, bro, so I'm supposed to go swim.
But the thing is, you should be able to be very, like I said, we're very smart. You should be able to change.
But I think
that.
I'm with Tina. It's stereotyping
Yeah.
the modern woman. You're put in a box and you're supposed to fit in there. They do not believe, they do not see that you can change according to seasons. At work, you're expected to be like this. At home, I'll be a mother. I'll be a wife. I will cook. But not expect you to come to office and start dealing, serving duty. No, we came here to discuss.
I don't know. Are there men who still do that?
They are. I'll just tell you something. Let me ask any girl in the corporate world, when you're seated in an office, usually when it's tea time, who will they look to serve the
the
tea?
chief.
They'll look at the chief.
Do you know that there are some men who are attracted to that kind of character?
Who's serving
To
tea?
no. Who are attracted to that character of women? The bold women.
The bold women, yeah.
Yes.
There's somebody for
There is
everybody.
somebody for everybody.
Exactly.
There are people who will be attracted to that kind of woman who will be like, I'm not pushover. Actually, I feel like the stereotypical woman is the boring woman. But sometimes boring is safe.
No, we don't do that
Who
here.
wants to be described as boring?
Submissive. Oh, but no, guys, be submissive. Don't say, oh, we're watching this and they said, go run mad.
Don't mix that deal. The submissive. A woman will submit if they are treated right. Let's not just take this thing at face value. She's supposed to submit.
What is submitting?
What am I submitting to?
Automatically.
And though we can sit here and debate on how all the poor woman is suffering her submission, some women take pride in it. Some people enjoy it. Some people, you'll be in a room and her husband walks in and she falls down on her knees, and her husband probably doesn't tell her to do that, but
It's different ways to submit. I mean, it's very, like, submission is different for every woman, just like the sex life is. I mean, what works for so-and-so might not work for so-and-so, right? So our kinds of submission to the modern woman, very different, but also submit to what?
The modern woman is faulted at not being able to accept help. We're in a masculine energy. I fix my tire, I take the car for, like, I do everything
My
myself.
special has made us, it was good, but right now has...
So we are
Become so-
faulted. We're like, we do not accept help. Even when that guy is trying to help you, you're not accepting.
But you know
that help.
what? Do you know what I've realized? There's not so many guys trying to help us.
They have
So
been
then you
together this
become what you wish would have been that person. Do you get what I mean? Like,
Yes, we
we're
become the men.
dating. Yeah, we're dating people who are not even like bothered if your tire has burst and stuff. You're a modern woman. Oh, feminist. So you know what? Fix that. So for me, it's like it's same to submission. Like, allow me to be that.
I
Yeah,
had someone say that we've become the men we wish we had.
wish we had. Yeah.
So we are forced to be those men. So that's why we don't accept. We're so busy taking care of ourselves, and the men in our lives are not. So we find it hard when you find someone offering that.
So
help. You're
maybe
like,
we should slow down and give them back their roles.
they should take back their
Are
roles.
they taking back their roles? That's the question. Are they taking back their roles?
Let's go back to one big question. So is the modern woman happier, or is she less happy?
We are losing and winning. I feel like we've won in very, very many areas. We've kicked those doors. We're now in the boardrooms. We are, I can say, like, we are on the journey to there. Well, I'm even scared. I feel like the journey is halfway, but by the time we finish, I feel like it's a bad thing as well. We are also a danger to ourselves. Sometimes I create content and I'm like, oh my God. But imagine my future husband is here on my Instagram seeing me drink orange.
I think we're happier. We can define happiness differently. I think we're happier. The modern woman has very many issues to contend with after this, but definitely we're winning. It's about hitting a perfect balance, but we definitely have come a long way, and we thank God for that, and we thank the odds that have played in our favor. And like I said, we are superhuman. We have a superpower and an extra thing. If we push it further, we are, the sky is the limit for the modern woman.
So all in all, the modern woman should strive to strike a balance. So we could go on and on
And on.
and on. But let's continue the conversation in the comment section. Till next time, thank you for joining us on the MellaQueen series. Subscribe to the channel, follow, like, and see you next time. Bye-bye.
Thank you.